Every Saturday in the SEC is an exercise in brutal physics. The margin between a championship run and a lost season is usually decided by who has the most bodies left standing in November. Going into 2026, the Georgia Bulldogs are sitting right in the crosshairs, opening the season ranked number 3 in the AP preseason poll. This chart breaks down the current national title odds. Ohio State opens as the betting favorite at plus 600, while Georgia sits just below at plus 900. That gap comes down to geography. The SEC packed 9 teams into the preseason top 25 this year, and Kirby's Smart Squad is scheduled to face 4 of those ranked conference rivals head-on. The expanded 12-team playoff changes how a program tracks its success throughout the fall. Success in this new format is defined by a team's ability to secure one of the 7 available at-large bids, rather than solely focusing on maintaining an undefeated record. Chasing a flawless conference championship run carries a specific cost in player health. By December, the accumulated wear and tear can impact a team's performance in a playoff that now stretches deep into January. This diagram maps out Georgia's 2026 schedule by grouping their opponents into 4 specific categories: preseason tune-ups, resume builders, trench warfare, and trap games. Looking at September, we drop Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, and a road trip to Arkansas straight into the tune-ups quadrant. There is a high probability the Bulldogs start 3-0. These matchups allow the offense to find its rhythm and lock in early execution. The risk here is psychological. Easy reps in early September can mask depth issues right before the heavy contact of conference play begins. A true evaluation begins on September 26th, when the number 10 Oklahoma Sooners come to Sanford Stadium. This game slots into our chart as a primary resume builder for the playoff committee. A dominant win over a top 10 SEC opponent in the first month validates Georgia's preseason number 3 ranking. However, a high-profile win this early also gives every other conference rival weeks of premium tape to study the Bulldogs' best personnel groupings. Going undefeated through September is a prerequisite for the 2026 roster, but it is not the segment of the schedule that will define their postseason seeding. The pressure spikes on October 10th with a primetime road trip to face number 13 Alabama. Playing under the lights in Tuscaloosa is one of the most physically draining environments in the sport. This matchup is the most likely spot for a Georgia loss, which would immediately force the team to manage its tiebreaker scenarios for the rest of the year. In a conference with 9 ranked teams, the outcome in Tuscaloosa determines if Georgia maintains control of their own path to the SEC title game. After a bye week, they head to Jacksonville on October 31st for the neutral site rivalry against the Florida Gators. The schedule provides no recovery time after the Florida game. They immediately follow it with a November 7th road trip to number 9 Ole Miss and a November 14th home game against number 25 Missouri. Look at how this chart maps out. Florida, Ole Miss, and Missouri form a 3-game block of high-impact SEC football. Playing 3 ranked or rivalry SEC teams back-to-back tests the depth of the offensive and defensive lines more than any other point in the season. Emerging from this stretch with only 1 blemish on their record would mathematically put a playoff bid within reach. This specific 3-week window is the defining point of the season, where Kirby Smart must balance the push for a conference title against the potential for late-season roster fatigue. Considering the depth of the 2026 SEC, our forecast suggests Georgia will drop 2 games, likely to Alabama and Ole Miss, finishing the regular season at 10-2. Based on the current schedule paths, we project the Texas Longhorns will emerge as the 2026 SEC champions. If that scenario holds, Georgia will miss the December 5th SEC championship game in Atlanta. While the top 4 conference champions earn a first-round bye, missing the title game offers a different kind of strategic trade-off. A 10-2 record against the schedule likely lands Georgia the number 7 at-large seed. This allows the roster to rest during conference championship week while their rivals endure a 13th game. Although a number 7 seed must play an opening round game, it grants Georgia home field advantage at Sanford Stadium, ensuring their playoff path begins in Athens. Success for the Bulldogs in 2026 depends on using that home environment to launch a deep postseason run, potentially meeting Ohio State or Texas in the semifinals. To map out the race for yourself, visit sportsbrackets.net to download the 2026 Top 25 schedule grids, team calendars, and printable bracket predictors. In the modern playoff era, navigating a 10-win SEC schedule and securing an at-large berth provides a viable path to competing for a national championship.